So, guys, another week, another training. We've got Jose again. We're very, very lucky. So today is how to book a group cruise. For anybody who wasn't just around literally a couple of minutes ago, Jose has just explained that this is really, really popular training wise for a lot of agents. You can earn a cracking amount of money out of group cruises. We do have a presentation for you. Jose, do you want me to bring up the presentation? What's going to be easiest for you?
Yeah, it's all you. You go ahead. You bring
Perfect.
it up.
So let's get
You do one
straight
slide, then
in.
I'll do the other. And if there's something that's culturally different from how the U.S. does it to the U.K., please let me know. Okay.
Perfect. No problem at all.
There we go. Update: How to book group cruises for 2025. Okay. One of the things that we talked about, and Sharna's already talked about how to book a cruise. One of the things that the tips that I tell the agents in the United States is find out where your cruise terminals are and how far are your clients to those cruise terminals. And as an exercise, go visit the cruise terminals, walk around where they are. So you have that knowledge that you can share that with your clients if they've never cruised before. Now, like I said, if you want a copy of this PowerPoint, all you need to do is email me at the end of the presentation and I will send it off to you. Now, let's go to the next slide. Here you go, Sharna. You can do this one.
Amazing. So how many make a group? 10, 10, 8. What's that then, Jose?
Well, that is the 10-10-8 rule. Now, this is for the United States, but I'm pretty sure this is worldwide. For air, you need 10 people for group air. For hotel and resort, you need 20 people, which is 10 rooms, double occupancy. For cruise, the majority of the cruise lines, now this has changed a little bit, but for a cruise, you need 8 cabins at double occupancy, and that could be interior cabin, cabin with a view, balcony, or whatever. But that's what you need. So know how many make up a group. Don't come and call Sharna and go, I got 6 people going on the Carnival Freedom. No, that's not a group. Okay. You need 16 people, 8 cabins, double occupancy. Okay. Let's go to the next slide. Okay. Let's say that you start calling around and you start calling your suppliers, your cruise suppliers, and they go, we have no inventory for you for your group. Please contact Peggy here at Archer Travel with the dates, the cruise lines, the ship that you want to be on, and because Peggy can find stuff, she can find inventory for you. So even if the cruise line says no, there's no way, you don't have enough, there's not any inventory, just contact Peggy. Okay, next slide.
Peggy.
There you go, Sharna. You do this one.
Perfect. So as we know, there are many types of groups. Family reunions, wedding destinations. Wedding destinations, certainly on board a cruise ship, are becoming more and more popular. Always ask the question if you do have somebody who's looking at a destination wedding. Don't just assume that they want to go to Cyprus. Ask them. You just never, ever know. It might not be something they've even thought about. Church groups, company events, certainly, excuse me, I know in the States, they do plenty of 3 and 4, 2, 3, 4 nights. We're not necessarily as lucky, but certainly with P&O and MSC and people like that, again, we're stealing from the States and we are seeing a lot more of the shorter 2 and 3 night cruises. Sports events, music events, dance events, anniversaries, it could be a golden where all the family are invited. There's so many. I mean, even around me, your golfing groups, your Crown Bowl groups, they do go away and do these kind of things, all as a huge group that gets together once a year, once every 18 months. It might only be once every couple of years. But if you do not ask that question and you don't put it out there that it's something that we can do, they're never going to know, and they may well not have even thought about it. And as it says there, start to book. So 6 months to a year in advance.
Okay, I want to
go on. Sorry, Jose.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, although it was probably around 2 years ago, I did have some stats on this, and it tended to be if you had a family of or a group. I mean, it's not a group if it's 5, but if you had 5 plus, going on a cruise. Over here, the average was between 12 and 14 months that they would book in advance.
Yes. And I just want to touch on a couple of things here, you guys. You guys, let me tell you something. This is great commission. I mean, really, really good commission. Now, we need to talk about tour conducting later. That's another way you make commission off this group cruise. But, you know, look at this. And you know, the church thing is an easy one. You know, going up, you know, one of the things I talk about is, you know, if you're a new agent and if you do go to church or worship or whatever you do on a Saturday or a Sunday that you go to your religious belief, just go up to the pastor and say, you know what, let's take the parish out for a group cruise next spring. Don't ask for a yes or no. And then you say to them, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Pastor, you can go for free. Because you see, the more cabins you sell, the more availability you get a cabin, you get a berth. But that's tour conducting. I don't want to confuse that. Sharna is right. You want to be 6 months to a year out. If you have 90 days before your group cruise, that can be tough because the inventory may not be there, especially on the British Isles and in the Mediterranean. So you want to make sure that you get to these groups at least a year out if they're planning a family reunion, etc. Okay? All right, let's go to the next slide. There you go, Sharna. You go ahead.
Perfect. So as it says there, first thing, get some assistance. So somebody who can help with group management, another person that can help you along with these things, that can do the updates, that can do the announcements, somebody that knows what they're doing with regards to passports, knows that they need to have those 6 months valid, somebody who will be taking care of maybe the payments, and you know, that one main person that you know that you can contact when the client is not there, somebody who's going to know what's going on, somebody who understands the group itself. You know, also bear in mind, if you're looking at weddings and that kind of thing, you could have the bride's sister's auntie's mum's dog, you know, as well as the groom's brother's best friend's girlfriend, somebody who needs to, who can be involved with all of it and know exactly what's going on.
You guys, this is so important. And I don't, the American agents, the US agents, they tendency not to do this. And then as the booking progresses, they go, oh my God, then they start sweating it out because there's all this work that has to get done. This isn't an easy booking. It's not. It's going to take time. It's going to take patience, and you have to go with it. We can point you in the right direction. We work with Peggy and our group cruise coordinator here. So if you do have questions, please contact us. But first thing, get some assistance, like Sharna said. Other than the client, it could be, you know, let's say it's Mrs. Johnson, it's a family reunion. Well, she has a daughter or a sister-in-law or a sister that can also help you with this. All right, let's go to the next slide. Get some assistance. All right, steps booking to the cruise. Pre-booking steps. Number one, how many passengers make a group? Like I just said, 8 or more cabins at double occupancy. You want to start 1 year out, 6 months out. Committed passengers. You need this. Don't just, you know, oh, I need 50 cabins on the Carnival Freedom, and you don't have the committed passengers. That's what you call choking the inventory for other agents that want to book groups or want to book that cruise. What I mean by committed passengers is this. You set up a cutoff date. We're going to talk about that, how you get that commitment. And you want to make sure they're ready with the deposit, ready to do the deposit. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, go ahead. You can go.
So we've spoken a lot about qualifying our clients. So again, it's very much, it's building that rapport, it's getting to know them, it's getting to understand their needs. And again, if you're talking about a group here, the chances are every single person will want effectively something different, something that is their ideal. So we need to be asking these questions. Why are they going on a cruise? You know, if somebody is going for an anniversary, you're instantly opening yourself up there to, okay, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, for your golden wedding anniversary, surely we can upgrade you to a junior suite or whatever it may be. You're automatically opening the pot for many other things. And then as soon as brother and sister see that Mr. and Mrs. Jones are going for a junior suite, bang, they want one as well because look how fancy it looks. Where is the cruise going? Where do they want to go? Where have they been before? Where have they not been before? Has everybody cruised before? You know, you are going to find that maybe 20, 50, 70% have, but you are also going to find those that have not.
Mm-hmm.
Explain what the pre and post nights are. Again, you're upselling, but you're not upselling purely for commissions and to line your own pockets. You're upselling as a service. You mentioned, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, that you'd love to go to Rome. I appreciate that this cruise flies in and out of Rome. You may not be getting to see everything you want, but what we could do is we could add you 2 nights, 3 nights, 4 nights, whatever it may be, at the beginning, at the end of your cruise, and make it extra special.
Just really quick, could you hide that little window that's is lower? It says commission, and then I like to, it says extra commission, but I cannot see what's the remaining.
Oh,
Oh, that's fine.
yeah,
I'll go through that in a second. No problem.
yeah. Okay.
And sorry, Jose, the exact same with the excursions. Again, you are going to have people that want to do different things because you've got a group. That does not necessarily mean that they all have to do the same thing. Let them know that this is the case. You don't want everybody thinking, oh, I really didn't want to go and see something in Madeira. Gosh, it's really not something that I wanted to spend my money on. That's okay. Those that want to do it can. You don't have to. You've got this choice. You've got this option. They don't have to do all of those things together. Very important. We went through this last week with the booking a cruise itself. Any special circumstances or special needs. If we are needing to look at things like disabled cabins and what have you, taking mobility aids and all of that kind of thing, you need to make sure you give them a call and you need to check the availability. Unfortunately, as it stands, some of these cruise ships just don't quite have the capacity of the disabled cabins that we may need as cruises are growing more and more popular. So always make sure you double check that you can get what that customer requires. And of course, when do they want to go on the cruise? You don't want somebody who says, we are flexible, we can go anytime from January to December.
Yeah.
You don't want that. On the
No.
flip side, you may not want somebody who says, I can go on the 15th of April and that is it. Because again, if you're looking at 8, 10, 12, hopefully 20 cabins, if they could give you maybe a couple of weeks or a month that they'd be able to travel in, that's helping you as well. It might seem like it's more work, but actually it's helping in the fact that we need 12 cabins, we need 20 cabins here. And again, we've been through it, those passports, please ensure wherever that cruise is going, that the passports have got the validity that they need, whether that's just till the day they come back, 3 months, 6 months, and of course, any visas. And the magic question that Jose told us about last week, and I think the week before as well, does the group want to invite anybody else? It's a straightforward question, and it absolutely does the trick. Soon as they say, actually, Mr. and Mrs. Smith next door might want to come, bang, there's your extra commission.
Okay, just some points I'm going to just review here. Again, your pre and post nights. Now, let me explain something to you. This is important, the pre-night. If you've got people, flying from London to Civitavecchia or to Barcelona for a Mediterranean cruise, which you guys book a lot of, please, you want to book that pre-night. You want to make sure that your client is there to get to the ship. I've heard nightmares here in the United States how clients didn't do that. They didn't want that. They didn't want travel protection on the booking. So they were late getting out of Detroit and they didn't make it to Port Canaveral and they couldn't get on the Carnival celebration. Gone. The entire booking gone. So be adamant about that. Because here, like in the United States, like you guys in the United Kingdom, Liverpool, you guys get snow in Liverpool. You guys get that bad weather and that delays the airports and the airlines getting out of there. So you want to make sure that you do, and like Sharna said, to enjoy these places. I mean, you know, Civitavecchia and Rome, they're right next door to each other. Barcelona, there's a lot to do. And again, the question, does the group want to invite anyone else? Anyone else? You want to invite anyone else on this family reunion? How about the Millers? They live down, oh yeah, they know our family. Let's invite them. See what I mean? And your booking just grows. All right, let's go to the next slide. Extra commission here. All right, step one, what must be known to qualify? All right, ship, the destination, dates of cruise, how many people? Kids and seniors, room categories for group, what kind, how many balconies, how many cabins with a view, how many interior cabins. Must have room and cabin breakdown commitment, and group is ready to make the deposit. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, I want to talk on this one, all right, because this is your lifesaver. When you're working with a group, and let's say it's Mrs. Johnson and she wants to do a family reunion. Okay, you say to Mrs. Johnson, saying, okay, Mrs. Johnson, send out your email invitations and put a cutoff date in there. We need to know if you're going to come on this cruise by, March 15th. We're giving you a month. I need to know what cabin category that you want and that you're ready to make a deposit. The deposits in the United States are roughly $50 to $100. Sometimes they're $25. It depends on the sale and the time when you book it. But we want to know that they are ready to do that. This way, you know what the inventory is. And this way, you know, when you call the groups department, you know exactly how many cabins, how much inventory you need. Now, don't get me wrong. You're going to have some people in the group that are late lagglers, like I call them, that it's March 15th and then they call you on the 18th. Go, hey, can we still get cabins? Yes, of course you can. But we don't want another, 20 cabins on March 18th that you have to negotiate. Example of this, 90 days to 6 months before the event. Example, it's an October cruise, family reunion, October 15th through the 21st, 7-nighter. Client has an idea of how many, but not sure of the idea of the room type. You set up a cutoff date, May 15th or June 15th. Inform the client to email group about the cutoff date. We need the cabin category and that the deposit is ready. By the cutoff date, you should now have your commitment and you're ready to go to the cruise line and then coordinate with Peggy. All right? Did I go too fast there, Sharna?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay. So this will help you follow these steps. That way you're not lagging back there going, oh, I don't know how many they want. Tell them, set up a cutoff date. That way we know exactly how many people are going to go. All right, let's go to the next slide. There you go. Go ahead. Your turn.
Yeah. So exactly as Jose was saying there, what type of cabin do your clients want? If you have a client who has cruised 15 times and have only ever had a balcony, to a degree, there's not even any point in offering them an interior. Get to know your clients, upsell them, explain these reasons. Do you want an interior? I mean, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But if you've got clients that are used to this or used to this, there's absolutely no point in offering this to them. More space, your balcony. Do you know the other thing? If you've got first-time cruisers, they've been on holiday every year for the last, 10 years. They've stayed in hotels. They like to sit out on their balcony, me, for example, I will spend a lot longer getting ready, meaning that my partner can be out on the balcony with our daughter, playing, having a drink, whatever it may be. If you get to know your client to that point where they can tell you every holiday that they've been on and that they love to sit out on the balcony and things like that, there's your in. That is your entrance there to be able to upsell them to a balcony. It will not work every time, but it will work sometimes. And that's all you need from them. Tell me what you want, and I will tell you what you need in return.
There you go. And that's exactly right. All right. All right, let's go to the next slide. Again, qualifying the group. Now, let's talk about what time your clients want to dine. Now, this is a little tricky here. Okay. Sometimes the group wants to have, all the tables together, and that can be arranged. It's just the cruise line needs to know about it. Don't just show up with 30 people and say, we want to sit together. That ain't going to happen. But it can be arranged before the dinner. You can call them, or even, before they get on board saying, on that Thursday night, we all want to be close together. So we want to, in the dining room, reserve tables for this group, the Johnson group. The dining times for your clients to choose is from 5, 6, 7 p.m. and anytime dining. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, step 2, booking groups, cruise line dates, how many committed back, right? Cabins. Now, step 2, contact the cruise line groups department, inquire, and this is where you guys sometimes drop the ball. And we've talked to Sharna about this. I don't know if you saw last Friday here in the United States, I did a special called Where the Deals Are. And we're going to start incorporating this in the United Kingdom and also with the agents in Mexico, because you guys have different suppliers and you guys have different sales. The reason why we did Where the Deals Are was because on Monday, it was a federal holiday here in the United States. And on Friday, it was Valentine's Day. So everything was on sale. If you're going to the cruise line and asking the groups department, inquire, say, hey, is there anything on sale for my group? A deal, an offer, or something? This way, when you go back to them, here's the quote. You know what? I got you, discounted room deposits. I got you $50 room credit per cap. You see, you can add that to them. That's one of the pluses. They go, wow, great. Yeah, let's do it. Make booking with the full name of the agent and your evolution. This is for other things. Email all booking information, booking number, ship, and sale date, the agent's name and ID number to groupcruises@archertravel.com. Now, I'm not familiar with your cruise suppliers in the United Kingdom, but we have a group cruise coordinator here in the United States, and she also works with the agents in Mexico for group cruises. We will set that information up there for you, but everything goes through her. All the group contracts, we want to make sure that you are getting your commission. So we want to make sure that everything looks right and that you quoted it right, that you didn't quote net when you should have quoted gross. So yeah, groupcruises@archertravel.com. Let's go to the next slide.
Perfect. Can I just jump in there as well very quickly? Please don't be afraid. Jose was obviously saying there about sales and things like that. Please also, if you are sort of maybe needing a sweetener or something for your clients to book, please get in touch with me, because obviously I've been very, very lucky in the fact that I've done this job for nearly 20 years now. I do know a heck of a lot of people. The amount of times I've called, for example, the head of sales at MSC and said to her, she's a personal friend, and literally said to her, I need something for these clients. And it could just be, right, I'll tell you what I'll do. I can do a bottle of champagne and a fruit platter or a thing of chocolate dipped strawberries in their cabin, but they would have to book by the end of this weekend. So please try and use me for these things as well. Anything I can get you, I absolutely will.
And that works hand in hand if they're having an anniversary or it's a special event, and they walk into the cabin, when they walk in, oh my God, a bottle of wine and fruit, from your travel advisor, your travel agent. Boom, it just booms. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Always ask if there's a deal, always. And this goes for everything else. If you're working on an all-inclusive resort, I always remember this one. I know that in Manchester, there's a nonstop flight from Manchester to Puerto Vallarta, I think every Tuesday and Thursday. Is that right, Sharna? Right? Nonstop. So if you're booking all-inclusive resorts, if you're booking cruises, if you're always, and you're talking to the suppliers, hey, is there a sale or a deal or a promo I can add to the booking? So always ask. All right, let's go to the next slide. All right, go ahead. You do this one.
Perfect. So you step 2, your pricing. So when you do contact that cruise line, whoever that may be, please ensure that you are asking for the gross price per cabin, excuse me, based on the double occupancy. That then means that when you are quoting to your client, it's going to include the cabin, any taxes, fees, and port charges. And again, going back to last week, some of you will have seen, some of you won't have unfortunately been able to make it. Make sure you tell them what it doesn't include as well. So it does include all of your food. It does include all of these stops that we've spoken about, all of these ports, etc. All your taxes, all of your fees, but it does not include your drinks, your excursions, any Wi-Fi packages, spa and gratuities. Although, again, I know we said this last week, it's slightly different for the UK because we are finding a lot more companies are including gratuities. That is obviously very much a US thing. Us guys over here aren't necessarily used to it. So that's ever so slightly different. If you don't know, ask the question. When you're getting that quote, just ask, does that include gratuities? As I say, it's probably about 80% of the UK market that does now include them, but you just want to make sure you've got it right for your clients.
I want to add something here where it says taxes, fees, and insurance. Let me talk to you about what this cruise insurance means. This is more insurance on the booking. This doesn't mean like if the client, is walking in Barcelona, she falls, or her luggage gets delayed, or her flights get delayed. But travel insurance usually covers. What this insurance here is, it's covering the booking. In other words, let's say that the client had to cancel for some reason. There's two types that you can purchase in the travel protection. Is either full refund or credit. Now, I highly recommend that you get this for the client, because the client's going to say, oh, I don't need that because I know I'm going to go. Well, life happens, and I've seen it a lot. And we've talked about this before when we talk about how to book a cruise, is that you got to tell your client, no, you want this to protect in case anything happens, that you have to cancel or anything, that you either get a full credit or full refund. All right, let's go to the next slide. Very important. So make sure that stays in. Love this one. The beverage packages. You have the non-alcoholic drink package, which includes the following: the coffees, teas, juices, sodas, milk, water. Highly recommended for children, especially if you have little ones, because I tell you, between the juices and the sodas, it goes like that. It really does. And you want to make sure you get this. Then you have the wine and spirits package, which includes unlimited beer, wine, mixed drinks, specialty. There might be some charge for some high-end liquors. That depends on what cruise line you're on. You want to purchase this before the cruise, not the day of the cruise, because if you purchase it the day of the cruise, it's going to be more expensive, and you may not get the drink package until the following day or the following night. So you want to get this. This is how you get the all-inclusive feeling when you're on the cruise ship, because then you don't have to pay for it. It's unlimited. So you want to make sure that they know about this and that they can take advantage of it. Let's go to the next slide. Sorry if I'm taking too long. We're going too long. Oh, here you go. Go ahead.
And then step 3 to booking the cruises. So please ensure, as Jose was just saying, that you do email the correct department. So we'll call her Magic Peggy. Please make sure you get in touch with Magic Peggy there if you do need her, if you need her guidance, if you need some help, as well as obviously when you're booking the cruise. The telephone number is down there, and I'm sure I'll be right in saying, Jose, that maybe her details will be on the Travel Cafe as well.
That's correct. That's
Perfect.
Correct.
Put your booking information in there, your agent ID. She will check, as Jose's just said, that you're getting the right commission, that everything's done as it should be. It can be quite a lot. And also, your adrenaline does go. It really does heighten when you're booking things like this. It might be new to you. Even if you were super duper and were able to do 2, 3, 4, 5 group bookings consistently, it's still that rush and it's still that adrenaline. So knowing that you've got somebody on hand to just as a fresh pair of eyes to check over everything is perfect.
Yes, it is really good that we have another pair of eyes that are looking over this, making sure that your group is ready and set to go. So again, connect with Peggy. Let's go to the next slide, please. Okay. Step 4, booking group cruises. Evolution agent, group leader, collects all the passenger information, which is the names, addresses, date of birth, phone, emergency contact numbers, state of residency, or I would guess it would be state. You guys have regions or whatever. Passport information, etc. The evolution agent and the group leader collects the deposit money from the group, or they can pay the group leader and she gives you the credit card to pay for everybody's deposit, and then they can pay whatever. Goes to the pays with individual credit card to the cruise line. Okay, let's go to the next slide. We will walk you through these steps, by the way. Go ahead. You want to do this one?
Yeah, absolutely, no problem at all. So just continuing there from what Jose was saying. So go to the website of your cruise line. Make sure you put all of the passenger information in. Again, you will always be told when all passenger information is needed by. So don't think that you're then going to have to take hours and hours out. they do with groups tend to give you a little bit of time to get all the passenger information in, so you don't have to rush. You can, make sure you're checking everything properly, as well as the payment information. Or of course, if it's easier, you can always give them a ring, and do the exact same things there, give them all of the information as well. But like I say, you do tend to find with a group, they will give you a little bit, they may ask for example, a name per cabin or something like that, and give you a bit of time to be able to input everything yourself.
Now, your clients in your group, they can call in. You can set up a payment plan with the cruise lines. I know in Carnival you can do that. They can call in and say, we're part of the Johnson's group. Here's our okay. We have your name. We've adjusted your cabin. And they can start paying it. All right. So don't worry about that. Let's go to the next slide. Like I said, Peggy will walk you through these steps. Final payment due date should be 90 days before the cruise line departure date. You want to give them 2 weeks notice. If the final payment date is February 15th, you want to tell the group final payment's February 1st. Why do you want to do this? Because there will always be someone that comes up and says, oh no, I don't get paid until February 3rd. Or I don't get paid until February 7th. Can you give me That's why you want to give them a 2-week notice. Agent submit booking commission tracking form for group cruise. Deposit is due 60 days after booking date, or group cruise will be canceled. It's usually about $100 to $50 per day for the deposit. It's all credited to the passenger payment. Let's go to the next slide. Oh, more commission. Sell the ports, right? You touch on this, Sharna.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, those ports, the things that you can do there, these people, your clients, they'll be choosing places for a specific reason. Now, it could be that they have been to one or two before, and some of the group may not necessarily feel the need to get off on that day or something, but you are always going to have people that haven't. So even if you guys have got to do a bit of research, have a look at the excursions that you can do, then spend that extra time, because these guys are spending the extra money. It's so worth it. Again, I think we mentioned last week on the cruise one, from the port of Civitavecchia into Rome is 2 hours. Some people will be happy jumping on a train and doing that themselves. Some people absolutely will not. I would be in that category. I don't like it. I can't speak the language. I just would rather have somebody do it for me. The other thing to note while we're just talking about this, I don't want to go too off subject, but while we are talking about it, selling these ports, please also double check if the clients are allowed off the ship without an excursion. So St. Petersburg, for example, your clients have to have an excursion in somewhere like St. Petersburg, because that cruise ship carries its own group visa effectively. But being able to get your own visa is very costly. It's nitty gritty. You have to travel to get it, etc. So please check that as well, because that's an instant win. People aren't going to go to St. Petersburg and not want to go and see St. Petersburg. They may want to do the Russian ballet, things like that. As soon as they step off that ship, there has to be a visa. The cruise already carries one for them. So why not? Why don't they just book an excursion? And again, the pre and post nights, both me and Jose have explained there, getting to the cruise. When we're flying to, when us from here are flying out to Miami to get on board a Princess cruise ship, we automatically have to, of course, because of timings, go the day before and have that night. There's nothing even stopping them from extending that for another 2 or 3 nights and really seeing, Florida or just Miami, wherever it might be.
Let's go to the next slide, and I want to talk about one. Okay, right now the busiest port. Let's go to the next one. You add more nights, you make more commission. This is where you can book it. That's for US. You guys have your own hotel booking engines. Let's go to now. I'm going to stop here for a second. The busiest port right now in the United States, you would think it's Miami. No, it's Port Canaveral. Now, Port Canaveral is about an hour and a half east of Orlando, Florida. And talk about you guys flying down to Orlando. Okay, there you have Disney, you have Universal, you have a ton of other parks and things to do there. And you're there. I mean, my goodness, what a great way to, go there and make that extra commission for those couple of days before you go on the carnival celebration, or you go on the new, what is it called? I forget, it's not the I forget the new Royal Caribbean ship.
Icon.
No, it's not the Icon. It's the Optima.
Oh,
I
yes.
The Optima of the Seas, which will be arriving in Port Canaveral, and Port Canaveral is huge. So you want to really make sure that you show them these things, and that's more commission for you guys, more hotel nights, and more Viator, more Expedia Tap, and those things. All right, let's go to the next slide. Other bookings. This is for something else. This is for U.S. agents, but important. The cruise line will offer group rates. You need to know, Archer, know about booking in a groups with Peggy. Let's go to the next one, because this is the next important thing. One thing you don't want to do is you don't want to take groups from other agents. Be careful here, and this is cause for getting you removed from the program. If the Johnsons have 15 cabins and you call them up and go, or cancel that booking, I'll take those 15 cabins, we find out about it. We know about it. So please do not do that. Do not mess around with other agents' bookings. Okay? Do not. If you want a copy of this PowerPoint, all you need to do is email me right there. There's the email, joseL@archertalent.com, and I will send this to you. Ms. Sharna, any closing words? Any questions? Any comments?
See if we've got anything in the chat here. If someone misses the cruise, can they get on at the next port? This has actually happened to a client of mine. The answer is yes, but that depends on the circumstances as well. If you're on a pre-booked excursion, it is down to them to get you back in time. If for whatever reason they didn't get you back in time, let's just say there was, I don't know, a road traffic accident and you were stuck in traffic, it's their duty to get you to the next port. If you have decided not to book an excursion, which was the case with the clients that it happened with that I booked, and they just decided to go off and roam around on their own, and then very unfortunately had one too many to drink and completely lost track of time, it was then down to them to get themselves from Italy to Greece in this case. So again, it's just another reason to pre-book an excursion if you've got some boozy clients.
And you know what? I tell you, you see, here in the United States, you can't do that, because what they have. So let's say you're in the Caribbean and you stop in Jamaica and you go to all these other islands, and if you're, it's really hard to get to the other island, okay, and to get on the ship again. All right, so it's really difficult, but and it happens. But your clients should be, they should use some common sense when they're doing this. All right. Anything else?
Tara, can clients change dining times whilst they're on the cruise? That is down to availability.
Yes.
Because they do obviously only have so many tables, etc., set up. And how much alcohol can clients take on a cruise? The answer is none, as in they cannot drink it themselves. I don't know if it's different for you guys, Jose, but if you're in a port somewhere and you bring duty free back on board, they will take it and they will store it for you.
That's correct. That is correct. That is not nautical law. That you're not allowed to do that. Now, one thing I do want to talk about again, because this is really important, especially when you're dealing with family reunions, okay? And because this has happened. I've had agents call me going, oh my God, we hadn't seen, Aunt Mary and Uncle Charles in 20 years. And they showed up at the cruise terminal, and Aunt Mary's now in a wheelchair. Now you have an issue, okay? Because like Sharna said, there's only so much inventory that's dedicated to that handicapped person with the handicapped shower, handicapped room, everything that they need. So you really want to make sure when you speak to the client and say, hey, listen, are there any special needs? Is there autism? Is there dialysis? Is there oxygen needs? We need to know exactly. Is anybody on a walker? Does anybody have any walking disabilities? We need to know this, okay? Here in the United States, a lot of the cruise lines in the United States have those go-karts that you can, I don't know if you guys have them there in well, I'm sure you do. In our supermarkets, we have them for the people that can't walk, that
Yeah.
they have a little basket, and they have a ton of them on these cruise lines here in the United States. So we can accommodate that, but we need to know. This needs to be known. It can't just know on the day of the cruise. Okay, so make sure you check on that. Okay.
Perfect. Tara, is there a specific area on the suppliers web, if you're booking a group, that is actually cruise dependent? So off the top of my head, our P&O system doesn't have a group area. They ask you to call if it's more than 6 or 8 cabins. MSC, I believe, unless it's changed, they actually have a group section and you then fill out a form and things like that. So it will be supplier dependent. And obviously, if in doubt, give them a ring. That these guys are here to help. They are specialists
Yes.
in these areas.
Yes. Give them a call. Give them a call. That's why they're there.
Perfect. Tara, another one from you, where you've put about reserving, for example, 50 cabins and then selling them after you've reserved them. You are absolutely way ahead of the game here, because I know that this is something I think you guys do quite a lot, don't you, Jose, in the States?
Yeah, we do. Now, one of the things that we're going to go into next week in the United States is it's called tour conducting. All right. Let me explain this to you, what this is. I don't know, Sharna, if you guys have this there also, but here's the way it works in the United States. For every 8 cabins you book double occupancy, you get 1 berth. What does that mean, Jose? That means you get 1 bed in a cabin. Now, if you sell 16 cabins at double occupancy, you get 2. What's that, Jose? Now you have a cabin. You have 2 beds, and that fills up a cabin. Now, that's why I'm saying how Mr. and Mrs. Pastor can go for free. They can get, you see, they don't have to pay for that. They have to pay taxes, fees, and port charges, but they get the cabin for free. Or you can sell that cabin if you want to. You can take that cabin. You can sell that cabin for more commission. There's a lot of things you can do with it. And you also get a tour conductor credit with it. So as you get into cabins, like into 40, 50 cabins, you're going to have some tour conductor credits that you can either get, the cruise line either pays you on those credits, or you can sell those, or etc. And we're going to go through that next week. I'm going to go for the United States on Wednesday, and then we're going to do the same thing on Thursday, so you guys know about it. Now, and the reason why I'm doing it, because I need Sharna's assistance to make me say, well, here in the UK, Jose, we do this, where in the States it's different. But it is available, and that's more commission from you. This is more commission outside of your group commission. Now you're making commission on the tour conducting, and it's a win-win. See,
absolutely is a win-win.
That's a whole other thing and it's just, see, so that's another thing where you're making more commission on. So that's how it's just really wonderful. Okay. Anything else? Now be careful here. Okay. Caesar just asked, do you get 1 cabin after 16? It depends on that room category. If it's 16 all interior cabins, you will get 1 interior cabin. If it's 16 balconies, you will get 1 balcony at the same rate and class as what those cabins are. Now, if it's a mix smash, okay, which sometimes happens on a group cruise, then it's up to the cruise line. They'll let you know what kind of category you got. Like, so let's say out of the 16, you got 8 that are double occupancy, you got 4 that are balconies, you got 3 that are, they'll tell you what you get. Okay. So don't just
and
think.
It also goes very nicely, Jose, back to one of the slides on your presentation, which is ask the question. When you're on the phone to these cruise suppliers and you may or may not be too sure, simply ask the question.
Yeah, they'll tell you. And here's the other thing, okay? Here's one of the tips that I tell all the agents in America, okay? When you're calling a supplier, vendor, or cruise line, call them up and say, hi, I'm Jose. Who are you? Your name is Bill. That way you know that you spoke to MSC, you spoke to somebody, Bill, at 11 o'clock, that he told me this. That way, if the information is wrong and you're going, oh, Jose, I made a mistake. Well, who'd you talk to? Oh, I talked to MSC. Who'd you talk to? I don't know. You want to make sure you get the name of the customer service rep, anybody who's helping you. Okay, just to verify the information. All right, everybody. Thank you. All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Sharna.
Jose. Thank you.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.